All right, and this lesson we're going to be talking about order of operations. All right, there's 4 steps. First step you always do what's in parentheses. So you look inside the parentheses, and then once you're in the parentheses, you do the order of operations all over again. Right? So these 4 steps you apply within the parentheses. Right? So in the parentheses, I got to do any other parentheses, and then I do exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Right? After you do all the parentheses, then you do the exponents. After you do the exponents, then you do multiplication and division. You do this in the same step. Okay? The only thing you have to do is, how do I know which one to do first? Do I do multiplication first, or do I do division first? You always do, if you move from the left to the right, as you're going from left to right, whatever comes up first, that is what you do. So if there's a multiplication that comes first, then I do that. And then if there's not a multiplication, I do that. I go from left to right, and I only do what comes up next. So whether it be multiplication, division, whatever comes first, I do that. Okay? Addition and subtraction. You do this in the same step as well. And again, go left to right. So where it comes first is what you do. So you start from the left and you work your way to the right, and whatever comes first is what you do. All right. So for example, let's do this. Okay, parentheses. So in other words, I'm looking in there. Right. Now it says also do the order of operations all again. So in other words, I gotta do. Here's another set of parentheses. Well, there's no operation going on there, so I can just ignore it. All right. So really, I'm looking at is I have 1 minus a -3. That's what I'm doing. So what's 1 minus a -3? Well, that's 1 plus 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. So now I have -8 plus 5. In my parentheses, I have 4 and then a 3. Okay, the next step is I do exponents. Well, here's the exponent, so therefore this is the only one I do next. Right, so I will be doing this next. Look here, and here it's positive, so therefore when I cube it, I will get a positive answer. So I have -8 plus 5. All right, in parentheses, I'm going to put my result. So 4 cubed, that's 4 times 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. All right, now I do multiplication and division. So I start here, plus, 5 times 6. So I do this first. All right, so 64 times 5, I don't have a calculator with me, so I'll just do it longhand. It's 320. And then the last step, do any addition and subtraction. Well, there's only one addition. So -8 plus 320 is what? 312 is your answer. All right. Now, if you're good with the calculator, you can put this whole thing in the calculator just the way it looks, and you should get this answer. All right. But I'm showing you the long way because it's important to understand the operations, because the calculator is also programmed to do these exact same steps. It's just what we did here. Okay. Let's look at another example. First step is parentheses. So I'll look in there. So what's 2 plus a -1? 2 plus a -1 is 1. Right. So now I do next is exponents. So I do that exponent, so that's 25. 1 to the 4th power is 1. Then I do multiplication, so that means I do 6 times 1 is 6. And then subtraction, 25 minus 6 is 19. And there you go. Okay, one more aspect to this. Now when you substitute a negative number, you substitute it inside parentheses. What that means is this. Here, x is negative 3. So what I do is I like to take this expression, I'll rewrite it without the variables. So in other words, this x I'm going to replace with parentheses. Alright? So in other words, I took the x's out and I put parentheses. So now this will go in to the parentheses. So I'll put a negative 3 in here and a negative 3 in there. Now I do order of operations. Alright, so parentheses, nothing going on in there, nothing going on in there. So that means I can go to the next step, exponents. There's only one, so I do that first. I got negative 4 times negative 3 squared. Well, a negative is inside the parentheses, and my power is 2, so this is going to be a positive answer. So 3 squared is 9. 6. Alright, and we got 6, negative 3, and negative 5. Alright, next is multiplication division. So here's a multiplication that comes up first. I do that first. Then I do this one. Alright, so negative 4 times 9 is 36, negative 36. 6 times the negative 3 is negative 18, and I have a minus 5. Now I do my addition and subtraction. So I do this first. So negative 36 minus 18, well, since the signs are the same, I actually add them. So 36 plus 18 is what? 8 and 6 is what? 15? Nope, 14. So I get negative 54 minus 5. And then since the signs are the same, so that means I add those together, so I get negative 59. And there's your answer. All right, so let's do one more example, and that'll be it for this video. So first step is I take this expression, I rewrite it by taking the variables out and replacing with the exponents. Now I take that and I plug it into the parentheses. Alright, parentheses, nothing's going on in there, nothing's going on in there. So therefore I can go to the next step is exponents. So I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. So I got 2 times whatever I get here. So 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64. But it's negative because negative's in the inside and it's odd. So it's negative 64. Negative's inside, but the powers is even. So therefore my answer will be positive. So negative 4 times negative 4 is 16 plus 27. Now I do multiplication division. So I'm going to do this first, then I'll do this second. So 2 times negative 64 is negative 128. 3 times 16 is going to be a positive, so 16 times 3 is 48 plus 27. So now I do addition and subtraction. So the first step is I do this. So negative 128 plus 48. Well, since the signs are different, I subtract. So negative 128 plus 48 gives me a negative 88. Oh, negative 80, excuse me. It's supposed to be negative 80 plus 27. All right, then I do that. Signs are different, so I subtract. So negative 80 plus 27. So I have 80 minus 27. Make that 7. Is 53. So it'll be negative 53 is my answer. All right, and